TV, turning on your world.
Good morning, East Africa, and happy week. Thank you very much for joining us on Your World this morning. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and I trust that your day and your week have started on a high note. Now, when COVID-19 struck, many sectors were affected, including the education sector, and a situation that forced the ministry, together with involved stakeholders, to go back to the drawing board. Among them is Kenya Accountants and Secretaries National Examination Board, or KASEB, which has just completed a major syllabus review that entails a revamp of the existing qualifications, plus introduction of new qualifications in the market, in a campaign dubbed #Stay Competitive, Expand Your Opportunities. So how important is this move in providing solutions amidst a pandemic? We find out in a moment, but first, the highlights. IEBC falls short of target in second voter registration drive. Education Cabinet Secretary says KCPE, KCSE exam papers have already been set. And today we discuss matters education. What impact has the new calendar had on parents, teachers, and the students? We get into that conversation in a few. And elsewhere, Clergy raises concern about rise of hateful rhetoric as politicians campaign. And since today it's all about education matters, the question that we're asking you is, what impact does the new education calendar has on both the parents, the teachers, and the students? So if you're watching us and you are a parent, a teacher, or a student, feel free to interact with us. Send us a tweet on at NTV Kenya at Lubembe_Winnie. We'll be sampling your feedback during the show. But for now, how about we take a look at the COVID-19 numbers, and this is across the globe, and then of course we'll come back to the country. So up until now, remember, the pandemic is still here with us, and very much so. So the global numbers at the moment stand at 395,882,670. This is the total number of confirmed cases across the globe, 314,743,461. This is the total number of recoveries across the globe, and unfortunately 5,758,593 people have lost their lives to COVID-19 again across the globe. But coming back to the country, and according to the Health Ministry, 322,096. This is the total number of confirmed cases as of Sunday. Remember, the ministry releases the statistics every day. Then 295,971. This is the total number of recoveries. But unfortunately, 5,621 people again have lost their lives to COVID-19. Again, that is a gentle reminder to everyone that COVID-19 is still here with us, And of course, what we're dealing with is, as a country is the Omicron variant and a new strain again of Omicron variant. So try as much as possible and keep yourself safe and those ones around you by observing all the protocols that have been laid out for us. But for now, let's take a look at the stories that we have. And the second round of the mass voter registration concluded yesterday, with the IEBC again falling short of its target of new voters. However, IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati says the other electoral processes will continue despite this missed targets. Leila Mohammed has more.
The last day of mass voter registration saw a lower turnout than previous days in the month-long exercise in some voting centres. Those who came to register at the DC polling station in Kibra were sheltered from the blazing sun by this umbrella.
Idadi ya watu ambao walijisajili kupiga kura ni watu kidogo sana. Hii changamoto ni kwamba kuna baadhi ya watu wanafikiria kwamba wakisajili kupiga kura, wakati wa kura uchaguzi ukifika, wakienda kupiga kura, unapata ya kwamba kura yao haiendi mahali, kura yao haina sauti. So changamoto kubwa ambayo sisi tunapata ni ile civic education kwa watu kuhusu kura yao, kuhusu kura ni haki yao, lakini hawana hiyo habari.
This was IEBC's second mass voter registration. It targeted 6 million in the first phase, but only got 1.2 million voters. The last push has seen some young people participate in this civic obligation. For some, their first engagement as young adults.
Ndio time yangu ya kwanza kuja kuregister hapa. Na line naona ni kubwa, wasi wengi wamejitokeza wanataka kuregister. So nataka kuhimiza tu ma youth huko nje wakuje wa register.
It's because I want the best for the country, and I'm praying for godly leaders who will take us to the next step.
Many waited till the final day due to circumstances beyond their control.
Ideas zitokangi time the same. Ndio nilikuwa nimeapply, sasa ndio imefika. Sasa nikaona acha nikuje hapa, nikuje ni register. Ndio tuchague tu malida wenye watatusaidia.
With voter apathy a reality, many Kenyans have taken it upon themselves to encourage other citizens to shape their future through their vote.
Naita watu watatoke akate kura. Kenya endelee.
Congratulations. It's the first time? Yeah.
Aside from registering new voters, the exercise allowed Kenyans to transfer polling stations or change personal information. Kenyans living in the UK, US, South Sudan, Qatar, the UAE and Germany will vote in the August election. After the mass registration, the IEBC will audit the voters' register, engage a reputable firm to check its integrity, and offer ways to improve its accuracy and update it. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Thanks, Leila. And professionals in the medical sector have rallied behind their colleagues who are seeking political office as they believe this representation in Parliament will help them. The Pharmacists Union has decried the fact that some of its issues of labour relations and welfare have hit a wall due to having no one to champion for them in Parliament. Take a look.
Now, with time, we have seen some kind of, I don't want to call it erosion, but there's lack of the strength in some of the leadership choices that have been made as regards to medications, medication education, and medication dispensing, buying. And as a result, as Kenyans who care about our fellow Kenyans, we decided that it's time to try and right this wrong, try and get folks who really understand what medications are to start helping in forming the policies and running systems that deal with medications.
Those of you who do elections, you have an opportune time to elect some of these members to Parliament so that bodies like KEMSA do not go through the trouble they have gone through. The original KEMSA Act, which I was privileged to chair in its formation, required that a pharmacist be the CEO.
And the Church and Clergy Association of Kenya has raised concern about the re-emergence of hateful rhetoric as politicians campaign for various posts in the upcoming election. The clergy sounded the alarm over the country's rising political temperatures and demanded that the government takes action against the rule breakers. They also called on Kenyans to uphold peace during and after the polls and shun politicians' spewing hate.
Kwa vijana wetu tafadhali vijana wetu, msikubali kununuliwa na shilingi 200. Usikubali hata kununua na 1000. Kwa sababu wanaokuambia ukapigane, watoto wao hawako pale barabarani. Watoto wao wako shuleni wanasoma, ama wanakula madoidwa kwao nyumbani. Na wewe unajitokeza kwenda ukapigwe mawe ama upigwe risasi na polisi. Tafadhali vijana wetu, tutumie akili zetu. Tukatae kupiganishwa na wanasiasa.
Now, the National Muslim Leaders Forum, that is NAMLEF, has called on the government to ensure the release of notable Marsabit businessman Roba Abduba Sereka, who was abducted last Wednesday in South Sea, Nairobi. According to NAMLEF, the delay in providing information on Roba Sereka's whereabouts may trigger instability among clans in an already tense county.
We don't have any evidence to tell us who has abducted Roba. But the suspicion is, if no proper evidence is given, it has been instigated by probably the other clans. And this could cause further bloodshed. We might be waiting to see tens of hundreds of Kenyans killing one another. It is our appeal that if this has happened because the organs of the government has picked up this guy and taken him, within the least possible time, he should be produced in a court of law.
And to education matters now, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha says the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education and the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations are now ready. Magoha says the examination papers were printed outside the country to safeguard the integrity of the test. The CS also asked education officials countrywide to ensure that every student sits the exams that are set for next month.
Do you think you and me and our relatives are ready to print exams in Kenya? Do you think so? It is coming. Once CBC takes root, it will be done because the premiumness of the examination will have disappeared. The child will have gotten 60% on assessment. That child, you cannot sit on him. So maybe that time you can say, okay, for the 40%, let us set here. I want to assure the outflanked counties not to worry, because we have instructed Kenya National Examination Council to ensure that schools that are far flanked and within a certain distance, the children will be allowed to sit examination in their own interest. So nobody is going to allow children to trek for 5 kilometers or so, or 10 kilometers to go and sit exams.
And in that spirit, as far as education is concerned, let's stick with that. And remember, like we said, today our focus is all about the new education calendar. And we have a question for you, and that is what impact has the new education calendar has had on parents, teachers, and the students. Again, what impact does the new education calendar has on parents, teachers, and the students? So keep tweeting at NTV Kenya, at Lubembe_Winnie. And remember, if you want to call in live and either ask a question or give a feedback, feel free to do so. The numbers will be down on your screen in just a moment. But for now, let's focus on the discussion. And of course, to help us, we've seen a lot of reforms and major changes in the education calendar, and also CASNEB has also had a major reform as far as the syllabus is concerned. So to help us with the discussion, just understand why is this important, and especially for all the students who are planning to actually join the institutions of higher learning and also focus on the CASNEB syllabus. This is very, very important to you, for all the parents and the students as well. So to help us with that is Dr. Nicholas Letting, who is the CEO for CASNEB. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Bracing the cold.
Thank you.
And waking up. And of course, Dr. Letting is the Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of CASNEB and the immediate past Vice Chancellor, as well as Chief Executive Officer of the Management University of Africa, amongst so many accolades behind his name. I could go on and on and on.
Thank you.
But it's an honor to finally have you with us
Thank
today.
you.
Now, as far as then the education calendar is concerned, like I said, we've seen major changes. This year we'll have two major examinations, that is both KCPE and KCSE. So there's a lot of changes. What do you make of this?
Thank you, Winnie, for having me. And good morning, Kenyans. I'm very happy to be back. I used to be on TV some time back, and the education system in Kenya has changed especially in the last few years. For example, we know that we have the competence-based curriculum that has been approved by the government of Kenya for administration and offer to the students of Kenya from the last 3 years or so. So the changes that are happening are meant to ensure that we have competent Kenyans who can occupy global positions. And my take on it is that I really want to applaud the government of Kenya for taking that bold move. There, of course, there were a lot of difficulties from the unions and the various stakeholders who really would not have wanted to change the 844 system. Yet again, we know that the world is so dynamic. Every 5 years, a country or the education sector need to go through some changes to incorporate emerging issues in the world. For example, the Millennium Development Goals, among other changes that take place every other 5 years or 10 years. So I'm very happy that Kenya's leadership, led by the President of Kenya and the Education Minister, have been able to undertake that process. Yeah. I've been involved in it because I was once one of the council members of the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, where we were planning to transit from the former Kenya Institute of Education to the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. And that process was enabled to be successful in the last 5 years. And I would like to thank also the current Minister for Education. Was my Vice Chancellor at the University of Nairobi, Professor Makua. Yeah. And he's a very focused professional academic. So I think for me, the education sector, if you ask me, would be that in the next 5 years to 10 years, we'll see a lot of transformation in our education sector for the good of our nation. Of course, there are people who may not see this now, but going forward, I am seeing a situation where we are able to see a change for the good. And in East Africa, for example, I have been privileged recently to be in Burundi, and I noticed that the few Kenyans that I found in Burundi are doing very well. Yeah. They are trailblazing in Burundi, and they are running the education sector there and businesses. And I've also been in Rwanda, and not long ago, the same thing is happening there. Yeah. So you can see already we are leading in the region. Yes. And this CBC process will also make an additional transformation in Africa for Kenya.
Yes, not only in the country, but also across the East African region. So what you're saying is embrace the change. Indeed. But a lot of parents are like, oh, this is you know, it's like a marathon. Yes. You know, for both the parents as far as school fees and the students themselves, it's like there's no time to breathe and all those things. But like you're saying, it is better looking at it long term. Indeed. All right. Yeah. And it's not only in the country, because the professor, that is Professor George Magoha, was saying this will be a litmus test, you know, as far as what, again, our education system would look like. And something interesting is that, you know, the final assessment of the pioneer class, that is of the new curriculum, who will be completing the grade 6, will also be examined this year. That is in December. It's interesting to see how that will pan out, right? Yeah. All right. Now, and it's not only the education sector, you know, or the education ministry that has conducted a number of reforms. Also in CASNEV, there are a number of reforms that you know, has happened, and especially as far as the syllabus is concerned. But even before that, like when you think about CASNEV, you think the rigorous examination processes, and of course we'll address that in just a moment. But for now, can we just talk about, you know, the overview really as far as CASNEV is concerned, its core mandate?
Thank you, Winnie. CASNEV, for status, CASNEV means Kenya Accountants and Secretaries National Examination Board, established in 1969, whose mandate is to prepare syllabuses and administer examinations in professional qualifications in accountancy, financial management, entrepreneurship, ICT, and other business-related courses. So over every 5 years, the examination board normally reviews its syllabuses through a very rigorous process of benchmarking, globally, regionally, and in Kenya. So in last year by mid-July, by around July last year, the examination board was able to launch a new syllabus. This syllabus was thoroughly benchmarked with other leading nations like the United Kingdom, the United States of America, the Republic of South Africa, including Canada, India, Singapore, and Malaysia. And what happened is that we are able to get what is that professional of the future expected to be like. They're expected to be able to use data, to analyze data, to be artificially intelligent, to be able to be emotionally available or able to understand the situations they assess to work as a leader or as a professional in their sector. So what has happened is that CASNEP was able to go through that process, engage stakeholders. It's a requirement in the Constitution of Kenya today. So the engagement with the stakeholders was able then to bring out a syllabus that then proposed changes in various levels. For example, traditionally we have offered courses in technician level and then the professional qualifications for those who know, the Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, CPA, and the Certified Public Secretaries. And now, in the last 5 years, we introduced, okay, although it has been there, but we revamped it to call it a Certified Investment and Financial Analyst Qualification. But in the last syllabus, the review, which was done in 2019-2021, we're able to introduce additional qualifications. For example, we have a post-qualification, which is called Certified Financial Fraud Examiner. We need to support the government of Kenya in assessing document assessment or examination, which whenever the government is interested in analyzing some corrupt cases or anything, it requires information. So it's information that can stand the test of time in court. And also, that is after the qualification. Now, before that, we now are catering for the lower level people. For example, someone who has just completed high school and got maybe, just a KCSE qualification holder. So what we have provided for them is a vocational qualification in, say, graphic design and entrepreneurship, because we know Kenya is a very entrepreneurial country. We expect those people who might have scored even an E or a D, D minus to go into business. And some of them are doing very well. And so we have provided for them under what we call vocational certification level. Just after that, we have what we call certificate qualifications. We have certificate in accounting and management skills. And then just after that, we have what we call accounting technician's diploma. So you can see we are already providing for everybody. Who is keen to know. But by and large, what we intend to do is, for example, we want to make everybody to be a business-minded individual. We would like, for example, we need to know how to do a bookkeeping for ourselves. How can you be able to account for the monies you have? So that you can be able to say, if I have 100 shillings, I'm able to buy vegetables and buy some milk, and you're able to account the money. So that bookkeeping aspect is what we would like to make everybody. We want to promote what is called under the CBC financial literacy. So for us to be able to do that, we have now done the syllabus in a manner that is able to incorporate and embed that knowledge of literacy, financial literacy at all levels. Even the mama bogas, we expect them to understand the basics of that.
And I think that's interesting, because I think for so many people, just general knowledge about finances and how do you manage your finances. We were never taught like that, even in schools. We were never taught like so. I think that's interesting, to introduce that.
Yes, we're introducing that. We intend that in the next few years, as the CBC is coming in, the people will graduate from the various levels. We are aware that there will be exits at grade 3. People will just leave school after grade 3, and we know that. There will be exits in grade 6. There will be exits in grade 9 and grade 12. And those exits, people who leave school at that stage will then have to be, and I'm happy with the curriculum of the CBC, because they have courses like environmental learning, studies, and they have also something to do with the life, how to live with people. If you recall, some of the core skills of the 21st century is about citizenship. How do you become a patriotic person for your nation? Communication. And corporate, among other things that we would like to do. So what we are trying to do at CASNEP is to be able to continue that continuum of knowledge expansion for the person who's learning. And so everybody who goes through CASNEP, and we have had about 500,000 registered people over the years from 1969, and qualified accountants of about 50,000 in Kenya, and who work across the globe. I'm very proud of some of them in the UN, in the World Bank, among other places that lead the thinking and the leadership of the world. So if you look at the next 5 years, we expect that in CASNEP, we'll be working with the stakeholders in the Ministry of Education. We are in the Ministry of Finance, the National Treasury and Planning ourselves. That is CASNEP. So we expect to work very closely with those institutions, stakeholders in government, to ensure that we reach out to every location, every ward, every constituency, every county, to ensure that we are everywhere, and we are working with Huduma Center Secretariat to ensure that our services are available to every Kenyan.
To every Kenyan.
Yes, in the
All
process.
right, then, so I'm pretty sure, like, let's say a parent or a student watching us by thinking, but what are the qualifications? What are the entry, qualifications for CASNEP? Because, like I said earlier on, for so many people, you think CASNEP, you think the rigorous examination process is like, whew, this is so difficult. So what are some of the entry qualifications that all the students need to
Thank you, Willie. What we have done in the last, previously, CASNEP used to be known for just CPA, Certified Public Accountant of Kenya. But over time, we realized that not everybody in Kenya can be an accountant. So what we have done is to diversify, to create more opportunities for somebody who like to become a governance expert. So we have the certified public secretary or certified secretary, and we have certified investment and financial analyst. Now, the entry qualification, the entry point behavior for professional qualifications are usually C+, a minimum grade of C+ for you, for everybody who wants to pursue that area. But we take cognizance of the fact that there are those who may, at Form 4, may not necessarily get a C+. So if you get a D, an E or a D, if somebody gets that, they qualify to do the vocational qualifications. But if somebody gets a D plain, then they qualify to go for the certificate in accounting and management skills.
Yeah. How long does the vocational
It takes about 2 sittings, which is about a year.
All right.
So somebody who's prepared, and they go to training. We have accredited a number of training institutions, what we call accredited institutions in Kenya, and they're able then to work with the syllabus. And we are currently working on the study materials so that whoever joins the course is able to get the study materials from the training institutions which are accredited by CASNEP, and then the trainers are also well trained in that area, and then they can administer that. So you're answering your question still. Once you have a D plane, when a person has a D plane, you can join a college and do the certificate. Now, anybody with a C- and C plane then qualifies to do the accounting technician's diploma. That is an entry position where we are trying to open it up for more people to become an accountant. So you do not have, you cannot lose, if you are intended to be an accountant, you don't have to, you don't lose a chance of being an accountant if you simply because you failed in Form 4. And so because, and when you listen to the Cabinet Secretary for Education, you realize that it says, in a few years, everybody will have qualified going to school because of the CBC. And so we noticed that we want to work with the government of Kenya. Of course, we are government as CASNEP, and we have to continue ensuring that every graduate who wants to pursue a business-related course is gathered for in our system. Now, for those in the universities, let me start with those in the TVET sector. If you're in TVET sector and pursuing all those qualifications, let's say you are doing a course in mechanics, you'll definitely require a course in accountancy or basic bookkeeping. So you qualify, those who are doing the diplomas, you qualify to do the accounting technician's diploma. But if you are doing the crafts course, then you qualify to do now the certificate course. And I recently I had a dental problem, and I went to see a dentist. And this dentist, of course, they are qualified doctors with very high level of qualification. So this dentist was asking me, how do I get to know this accounting? Because sometimes I make a lot of money, but I don't know how it has gone, where it has gone to.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that Dr. I will not mention his name, but I'm sure he's able to see. I told him that everybody should be should be able to have a knowledge in business. Because then you're able to use that knowledge to ensure that you're able to do investments. If you have excess cash, what we call in accounting excess cash for a season, maybe you can put them in treasury bills. But you can only know that if you are somebody who has studied business courses. So I advise doctors and engineers who are doctors or in mechanics or whatever to learn some of these courses. Because they take a very short time. We can organize with the Institute of Certified Public Accountants for tailor-made courses. Because this is how it works. Yes, for professionals. So this is how it works. If you are maybe a medic and you want to learn about it, we organize for what we call finance for non-finance people. Whether you are in media, you also do the same thing for you. We can organize for finance for a non-finance person so that you can be able to use that knowledge to have your game in business. And we have seen so many people who have learned very fast and they have used the knowledge to expand their business.
And I think it's just pretty much important, like you said earlier on, for everyone to just have a general know-how, even the basics, as far as the finances is concerned. And also you're running a campaign under the hashtag Stay Competitive, Expand Your Opportunities. Is this one of the maybe reasons why it informed the change in terms of the syllabus or the revamping of the syllabus?
Yes, what we are trying to do is, like I said, we want to ensure that everybody in our community, in our family is able to understand the basics of financial literacy. So in our campaign that we are running with CASNEP Style Competitive Expanding Opportunities, we expect that we'll reach out to every household in Kenya and even in the region. For your information, members, Kenyans, we administer examinations in over 40 countries outside Kenya.
Oh, wow.
In foreign missions, in Kenya's foreign missions. And we have people in New York doing CASNEP examinations, we have people in Dar es Salaam, South Africa, China, India. And so we reach out to those people. Of course, most of them are Kenyans, but there are also a few locals from there.
Okay.
In Rwanda, for example, we have very many
you have an office in
we have an
Rwanda
office
as
in
well.
Rwanda, and we have students there doing exams of CASNEP, and even in South Sudan, in Burundi, and also in Somalia. So some of those ones, we are making the examination relevant to their countries so that they also become valuable. And it's very interesting when you go to Rwanda, yet they have their own local accountancy profession, but they still, many people, they still want Kenya's rigorous, you said rigorous.
Yes, it's very rigorous,
That makes you think, come out very successful. I was able, when I was in Burundi, I was able to interact with this graduate of CASNEP, a Cameroonian, who works for the World Bank, and she said to me, you know, your exams are very rigorous, but it has helped me out to grow in my career as a leader in the World Bank.
As a person,
Yes.
There's something that you said which really caught my eye, and as far as then the rigorous examination, that is as far as CASNEP is concerned, you said, listen, if you do not prepare, you will fail.
Yes, definitely. Indeed, what happens, Winnie, in everything you do, you must prepare adequately. So I keep telling my students when they ask me the exams are difficult, that if you are not prepared, you'll still fail the exam. But if you prepare yourself adequately, you see these people were able to sit one exam, sitting, and they move on to the next level. I was this kind of a student who, when I was a student, because I also did CASNEP examinations, when I was pursuing my BCom, I was this kind of a student that I was trying to do BCom degree and also this other one. So occasionally I would fail the CASNEP examination because I really wanted to make sure that I don't fail the university examination. So I failed several times. So I want to encourage that Kenya who has been failing that.
There's some people who are like, listen, I have done this for like 5 years, for like 6 years, I still fail.
Yeah.
Is it
I would encourage that person to go to school, we have many trainings, and if you can visit CASNEP website, you'll find so many of them, and you are revamping the list so that even if you're outside Nairobi, of course, the concentration of most of those training institutions are in Nairobi. But we are now encouraging counties and our professional graduates. I was happy. For a long time, we did have training institutions in Homa Bay. But a few of them from my friends in Homa Bay said, we need to have a CASNEP training accredited center there. So at least I want to encourage quite a number of others to do the same, even in Marsabit or in Turkana.
Yes, some of these counties that sometimes it's very, very difficult for them to access some of the services. Okay then, so COVID-19 came.
Yes.
Disrupted the entire world.
Yes.
And of course, one of the parts that was very, very hard hit was the education sector.
Indeed.
And of course, we also saw a lot of reforms in terms of the education calendar, just to make sure that, catching up. And now this year, it's a bit different because we have two major examinations. And now for CASNEP, you also introduced like 3.
Yes.
Take us through that.
Yes, thank you. Following the onset of COVID-19 in 2020 March, I think it's about two years now, CASNEP was also affected like any other institution, so we used to have examinations in May and November in the last few years. But again, so we missed the May sitting. We could not do it because the government had declared a lockdown nationally. So we could not administer examinations. But come November, we were able to administer exams. So the examination board, the board of directors and management were able to plan and say, what do we do now to recoup the lost time? And also to grant opportunities to people who would like to pursue this this course. So what we did was the examination board decided that we then will administer examination 3 times in a year. And it was a good thing because it gave an opportunity to everybody who may want to do examinations in a fast time. So we have examinations in April and in August or July and then in December. So but then this time around, last year we did it like that. We had an examinations in May, that is 2021 May, August, September, towards the end of August and early September, and then December. But because of elections that we are scheduled for this August, we intend that we shall do we bring it forward to April, early part of April. That will be on the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and then We'll do another one in July around 20th, the week of 20th.
Yeah.
And then
another one in
then one in November. The reason why we are doing that is so that around August, when people are going for elections, we know our candidates will not be disturbed by anything. But allow me, I need to tell our candidates who are preparing for the exams that the registration deadline for April sitting is actually 28th of this month, which is February. So I like to, there's a Kenyan aspect. Yesterday, from where I stay, I saw so many Kenyans trying to register for elections.
We're last minute people.
Last minute people. So I want to tell that Kenyan who is waiting to know the deadline for CASNEB examination. It's actually 28, but don't wait for 28. You can even register today and tomorrow so that we can, you have your record. And when you register nowadays, you get your timetable and you are sent away, you'll be doing exams. So you can only prepare for the exam. And also, one of the things we have done also, because of COVID, we have introduced what we call computer-based examinations. So what that means is that although we piloted with what we call the certificate in accounting and management skills, we have decided that we need some people to do it by going to do a question exams on the computer. So you just need a computer. The first phase was to be able to have them do the exam in an examination center room, which is managed by CASNEB and some of our stakeholders. We had 7 centers, one in our main office in CASNEB Towers. We had in KCA University, University of Nairobi, Kisumu campus, and a few other centers in Nakuru and Mombasa. But going forward, we intend that every student will give them specifications of the laptops they use with what is called proctoring technology, which means that at the comfort of your house, you can do the exam. But you cannot cheat, because every time you want to cheat, like if you attempt to change the way you are appearing on the screen of your computer, the system detects that and it switches off. It's already being applied globally, and we expect that will happen in Kenya very soon. And I think the education sector will have to use that in the future so that we do away with the cheats.
That's interesting, because I was about to ask you, because if someone does an exam at the comfort of their home, there's internet, so really they can easily just open another tab and then come back and answer the question.
Really, what will happen is that now, when you are doing the exam, the system will be configured in a manner that you cannot open any other site.
Oh, wow.
It is only the site that you are doing the exam.
Okay.
So you try to, and time is not on your side. When you try to Googling around, it will not. And it cannot also copy from there to put it in another way. So you have to type it. So you are writing it's a type of questions. You are supposed to type it like that. There's also a plagiarism tool that checks whether you're copying and pasting from another site. But of course, with that technology, I think ICT people, and I would encourage our people who are doing ICT in the universities. Recently, I was in Kenyatta University. I was giving them a career talk, and I told them, why don't you come up with a tool that will enable us to even project the population of this country, those who are doing various courses, and what opportunities are there within Kenya and outside the country. And one guy, one student in Kenyatta University who is doing data science told me, that is a very good thing. I'm going to take it up myself, and I'm very excited. So I would like to tell Kenyans there, come up with these technologies, and we shall buy the technology here and even outside other countries.
Because there's so many people who are very, very talented in the country. So just come up with that, and then all right, okay. Now, so the question is, so this will happen, right? Where again, technology, because again, we're in a technological era right now. A lot of it has been implemented. Education CS Professor George Magoha talked about an aspect of the KCPE and KCSE examinations being set outside the country, just to make sure that it is, the quality is good. What about CASNEB? Does that apply?
Yes. We normally don't want to help Kenyans where we print our exams. For a long time, we used to read it outside.
Outside the country.
But there are security firms in Kenya that print exams as well, the LaRue and other places. That's where I think, and I would like to suggest to the Minister of Education, they can consider security firms with proper CCTV and tracing. In CASNEB, we have security firms also that we use to even the printing, what do you call it, the package. It also have security marks so that nobody can open the examination once it has been packed until it is set out there. So in future, there's technology that once the exam is opened up, you should be able to tell when it was opened and where. So that technology is coming, and so printing, it's expensive to print out outside the country because it requires you have to go there, you have to print and transfer them or yes, transfer them using a lot of money to bring up to Kenya. But I think Kenya can invest, our country can invest, and there are many, very, very many entrepreneurs from other countries in Kenya who are able to do that assignment. Because when you go there, they're the same people, there could be the same people who are there, but they also can be in Kenya.
Oh, absolutely.
So they print, pack it, and ready for administration.
Yeah.
But I think those will change, because when we shall start using the computer-based, what we shall expect you to have is just have a small cadget to do exams. We don't have to put in any paper.
Yeah.
Just go, if it's your laptop, you go there, sit down.
Yeah.
You wait for the time, it say start, you start off. You start doing the questions. At the end of the time, it switches off. And the beauty with that, Winnie, will be that you will be able to get your results as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for 1 month.
Long delay, yeah.
Yes.
Because
you finish the exam and the system is able to process the results.
In
Within 24 hours, you have your results, and you can prepare. We will automate for you to get your transcript. Then, if you are going for an interview for a promotion, then you just generate the report. And then, because we are working with Kenya National Qualification Authority, our transcripts are recognized at level for the professional qualification like CPA, they are recognized at level 7, which is almost like a degree level. Because the entry behavior is C+, which is what is used to join university. And so it is expected that in future, and I'm very optimistic as a scholar and practitioner, that in the next few years, you don't have to be carrying your certificates for an interview. You just go there, you just introduce yourself, and then you give out probably your credentials, like your national ID, and they're able to have all your data and project and show which school you went, who are your classmates. You know?
I love the fact that you're really emphasizing as far as technological error and what technology can do. Of course, this is one of the things that you're introducing at CASNEP. Now, let's talk about policies. I know we touched on how different this curriculum is as compared to back then. But then again, there are also some policies that CASNEP has introduced as well.
Yes, one of the things that CASNEP has done over the last process of review was to be able to make sure that any student who is transiting from the old syllabus to the new syllabus, they retain they have a permanent retention of their credits. So they can transfer the credits if they were in the old syllabus. Remember, in the old syllabus, we used to have part 1, part 2, and part 3. Now, what you have done is that you have changed that to what you call levels. We have the foundation level, we have the intermediate level, and then we have the advanced level. So that you transit with your former part 1, part 2. But then there are courses, for example, that we have moved from the former part 2 to the current foundation. Now, that person may not do one or two courses. And I know some of them are asking us, why do we get to know that? Yes. So that is the only thing that we'll now tell you is we'll organize for workshops for you to do those courses, like quantitative analysis. But they also are a place we'll be able to expect you to have learned it when you are doing your management accounting course. We have also changed the policy in that sense that we expect the student to be able to complete within a certain period of time for the examinations. And we expect that that credit retention is going to enable the student also to transit from university, from a university with a syllabus that is similar to ours, and we have entered into agreement with the Commission for University Education, then it allows you to transfer credits from the university academic programs to the CASNEP professional qualifications that we offer. So they start proper transition. Then we have also made sure the examinations rules are very, very keen, because we want to be very sure that whoever comes out of CASNEP is actually a qualified professional who is able to run the business of the business, whether private business or public organizations or not for profit. We expect that professional. And I was just reminded to refer to the case I was saying earlier on about. I met this very brilliant lady from Cameroon who was saying she qualified after several attempts. She qualified with CASNEP qualifications about 2-3 years ago, and immediately after that she was given high levels of promotions. And so she says she's able to. There are many Cameroonians now who are interested in pursuing our CASNEP course. We have well over, I think, 2,000 students in Cameroon. Of course, they have a language barrier because they speak French, we speak English, and we examine in English. But going forward, what CASNEP will be doing in the new policies is to examine also in French. We are working with other organizations like that, Cameroon and Burundi, because they are predominantly French speaking, so that we can also examine them using the French language.
All right.
The same questions, but in French.
But in French.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So then, might ask then. So these policies, right?
Yes.
Who do they apply for?
Sorry?
Where does it apply to, or who does it apply to? So
the policies will apply to both the candidates who set for CASNEB examinations, and it also applies to the training institutions which train our students, and also apply to the employers. We expect employers to be, and they are doing that a lot. We get a lot of confirmation letters from employers. They say, in the last advert, we got so many applications. Please assist us to identify the people who are CASNEB graduates. And there are many. Sometimes we find out there are some who are faking and saying, I am a graduate of CASNEB. When you check our records, they do not exist anywhere. Yeah. So I want to still appeal to the employers through the Federation of Kenyan Employers and Public Service Commission to always continue checking with us. We are going to make your system faster so that you can even query on your end, as long as you are a reputable institution, like the public service institution which employs quite a number of people. My appeal also to the Public Service Commission and employers is consider when you're employing an accountant, please employ from CASNEB graduates and also members of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants, members of the Institute of Certified Investment and Financial Analysts, CIFA, and the Institute of Certified Secretaries. For those ones in the Institute of Certified Secretaries, there are those ones who have done law and they are doing certified secretaries qualifications, so it gives them additional knowledge. Because, for example, in the new syllabus, we have introduced a course called boardroom dynamics. We expect the person going to serve on the board to be knowledgeable in issues of boardroom. What happens in the boardroom? You know, minutes, how minutes are taken, and how meetings are decided, and the resolutions are there. In the CIFA, Institute of Certified Investments and Financial Analysis, it's expected that this person maintain the records in terms of analysis of information, scenario analysis, you know, simulation, and look at the business in the next few years, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years from now, and they're able to simulate issues there. The same thing as accountants. So what we expect to do with the policies is that we expect the policy to be applied across the globe. Members of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, ICFA and ICS, and all the others. We also have a course called Certified Credit Professional. These are individuals that will be responsible for following debts. If you owe somebody money, they will always be.
And you don't want to pay back.
So that's a profession that CASNEB has been promoting over the years, and we expect that going forward we'll be able to administer examinations in that level, working with banks and SACCOs, because you know SACCOs advance loans to many people. Banks also do the same thing. Sometimes they, and I think that recently the president waived the issue of credit reference bureaus so that they don't demand. But it's important that people, when they take loans, they pay for it. Because if a bank has given you a loan, it is not the money. It is not the money. The money does not belong to the bank. It belongs to other investors or people who are depositing. So they have also borrowed from you the money. So please pay that money.
I mean, also good credit. Gives you good credit
as well. Record, yes.
Okay. Now, so we know like CASNEB examinations are internationally recognized, but then again, there's some people who are from outside would want to come and maybe like do a CASNEB exam. Are they also recognized as well by CASNEB?
Indeed. I will say this, that and there are very many foreign students. There are those who even have studied outside the country. They have done other courses, CPA Australia, CPA UK, CPA of South Africa. We have entered into a mutual recognition agreements with them that a graduate from the CPA Australia in Kenya will not have to do any examinations, and vice versa. A Kenyan graduate with CASNEB qualifications and a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya going into Australia will not be examined. They will just work there, look for opportunities in the UK, in the Republic of South Africa. We are in discussion with the USA and Canada and other countries like Singapore and Malaysia, so that our graduates there from Kenya going there will not be examined again, because the qualifications we administer are globally benchmarked and globally recognized. And we expect that our graduates will then be able to apply the knowledge we have acquired from here, because a rigorous examination, and they can use. In fact, when during our benchmarking, last benchmarking in Singapore and Malaysia, we told them that we of course we are sharing knowledge. So they were asking us, so what happens when somebody fails the exam? They have to do them again. Wow, they thought we are a bit too tough on our students.
And I think it's something that even so many people in the country have, that that one is just too tough, for the students.
But I was very impressed because Singapore was saying, guys, you are very tough on your product, on your students. We told them, yes, we are preparing for them for the world of work.
Exactly.
The world of work is
it's tough out here.
Yeah, it's tough out there. We expect you to be able to maneuver your ways. And Kenyans are very good in that. So we would like them to, wherever they go, wherever in Asia or Europe or Australia or within Africa, they are able to, and I'm happy with them because whenever I go outside the country and I meet a few of them, they feel that they failed the exam, but they're also happy that
they passed. They went through it.
They went through it and they passed the exams very well eventually.
Yeah. All right. Are there instances where maybe one might have to do like maybe 1 or 2 courses?
Yes. What we used to do in the past, we used to insist that if you have to do a section which was 3 papers. You have to do, if you cannot be examined, you cannot be allowed to do 1. But now with the new syllabus, we are now allowing a person to do 1 paper at a time. But what that means is that you'll do it for longer. Although the sittings are now 3 in a year, means you can do one. So in a year you can do 3 papers. But we learn to encourage somebody to do at least a minimum of 2 or 3 papers. That way you're able to move faster, so that you don't say in CASNEP you stay forever. It is you who is keeping yourself around.
Who wants to stay forever? But just in case someone is curious, as far as then, what if I fail? What happens? How long do I have to wait to do the paper? Or is it like almost immediately that I have to redo the paper?
Indeed. That's a good question, because I meant to say it. What happens is that if, say, you start for the December examination 2021 and you have 1 paper to do, you do it in April. You prepare, you register immediately, and deadline is 28th of February. You can sit for the exams in April, early part of April, so you don't have to wait. Earlier on, people used to wait for 6 months. You know, even what you had read disappears. You have to start afresh.
You have to.
So now, if you start the exam, this is how it happens. If you start for exams in December, we mark, it was December 15th, 16th, and 17th. So we started marking immediately. By mid-January, we released the results. So most of the people start for exams in December have now received their results. So because you receive the results maybe around 20th of January, now you can go back to class for that 1 paper or 2 papers that you're doing, and register for the examination, so that you do it either 4th or 5th of May or 6th of April. So you notice, Winnie, that you don't have to wait for long to do your exams, because it used to be, even when I was doing my exams in the 90s, we used to wait for the next sitting, which would come 6 months later. By that time, you have forgotten almost
everything. Everything.
But with now, this one, you are able to do more.
Do it in a very small time frame. Now, the question is there like a limit? Because there's some people who fail once, fail twice, fail thrice, fail 4 times. So is there like a limit where you're like, wait, if you fail like 6 more times?
Now, the syllabus, that's a good question. The syllabus allows somebody who enters into examinations for professional qualifications. We have regulations under the Accountants Act, which allows somebody to register now. If you register now in year 1, you are allowed to go up to not more than 9 years. So it gives you time to go slowly. There are people, people take in fact, some people take their breaks and say, now me, I have, like ladies, they say, now me, I'm going to be a family person, let me take a break. So that gets us for them, so that if you start in year 1, then you can proceed to take a break. By year 9, you should have finished that. And I've seen many of them coming to finish the exam. I meet so many. The other day, I met a mother who said her son is partially blind, and the son really wants to do accountancy. So in CASNEP, we also consider special needs persons. So we give them a chance. Those ones will, because they may be doing 1 or 2 papers because of Braille and all those kind of things. So it gives them a chance to be able to do that. So we cognizant of the fact that not all of us are endowed in the same way. So we give them a chance to be able to do that. But of course, we notice that there is 1 or 2% who finish in a very short time, 1 year or 2 years. So there are such people. Recently, my attention was drawn to a case of a lady who first called in the university. She got a first class, and she came to register for CASNEP examination. And we allow that. We allow people to come from universities to do even if you have done anything. That lady had done I think, botany and zoology. And she got a first class in one of the universities in Kenya. And she said she wanted to do CPS. She came in the first sitting and did 6 papers and passed all of them.
It.
The next sitting, she did the same thing. I think there are people who are brilliant and geniuses.
Yes.
Of course, there are very few in the world. They could be 1 or 2% or less than 1%. So
who will do? Who will
yeah,
just
yes,
come, do
yes,
exam, and then that's it.
Yes.
Okay, so we literally have to end the show in like 1 minute.
Yes.
And I'd want you to speak to, let's say, the parents out there or the learners as well who are thinking, should I not?
Yes.
And also, we know the syllabus again gets revamped every 5 years.
5 years, yes.
And new courses are being introduced.
Yes.
So, are there other courses that you are looking towards introducing into CASNEB?
Yes. Fellow Kenyans and viewers who are watching online on TV, I would like to really encourage you and congratulate you for what you are doing. First of all, allow me to wish the KCPE and KCSE candidates the best of luck in the examinations that they will be sitting in the next 1 month or in the next month. And those who will be completing KCSE, we welcome you to CASNEB immediately. You register and join CASNEB to do that courses. Even if you are going to do medicine or engineering or being a pilot, you can do these courses. Parents, you have a responsibility to ensure that your student, your child is able to have a wider spectrum of knowledge in what they do. So even if they have gone to be a teacher, trained as a teacher or aeronautical engineers, you know, when the results are normally released, I hear people saying, I want to be an aeronautical engineer, a surgeon. They don't say they want to be an accountant like myself. So I want to encourage them to consider being a business professional qualification that enables them to do something for themselves, even to keep their records well. The other thing I would like to encourage people is our training institutions is to continue updating yourselves in the new syllabus so that when the students come there, you're able to teach them the latest as per the syllabuses so that they are ready for the examinations. So our examinations will continue to be rigorous, will remain to be of high quality so that our graduates can be able to be respected in the world. So I wish everyone of success, even our candidates, our CASNEB students who will be sitting for exams in April. I also wish them success in the exams. Of course, I'll still be meeting them virtually or occasionally, basically. And we are starting a webinar. We have started a webinar session where for students to emphasize on the area where they are not, feeling they are not ready, like law and financial management courses. We have webinars, and we will continue from what we have been doing in the previous sittings, so that we give them a chance to improve their knowledge and their competences in those areas. Because we realize that our students are struggling in law papers. Yes. Because we also have other courses in company law, business law, and other law courses. So we want to encourage them. Training institutions, please ensure that you have very good trainers there who can train our students who are examined in CASNEB.
Yeah,
yes.
I like that. And there's something also that you said, and I feel it's very, very important, is the fact that now, being in the technological era, you can do like 3 or 4, you know, or serve like 4 employees at the same time.
You see, like now, allow me to use NTV. I have been in NTV several years, coming on morning breakfast. I used to see so many people here, people preparing. But I've seen today Winnie and one other person who are doing the whole thing. Previously, I would see like almost 10. Now, that's what's happening in the future. We expect people to be multi-skilled. The person doing I don't know what is the name, the technician there is able to do all the things that 10 other people used to do. And I think that's efficiency. So we expect our graduates also to do the same thing. They should be able to prepare records, interpret the data information, and assist their clients to prepare their records or to make decisions on investments they need to make in their businesses. Yes. So it's a multi-skilled environment. Apart from the academia, you need the professional qualifications that they are supposed to do. Yeah.
All right. But what about those ones who think, see me, I'll just enter CASNEB and then you know how we can do those things, cheating, kidogo, fraud, kidogo, to help me pass the examinations very quickly.
Now, I want to say that examinations in CASNEB are very thorough. It goes through a process of preparation. It's a very thorough process. Even when we administer it, some people make attempts. I cannot lie. People make attempts to cheat or even impersonate. But we have a very rigorous system that are able to pick out, because we have, and we shall soon be investing on biometric, where you go and you use your finger to register, to join the exam room. So if you want to impersonate, you cannot impersonate. I cannot give you my finger winner to go and use it to enter the examination room. So what we do also during marking, we are very thorough. In every center, we ensure that, and the markers are several. There are several markers in one examination paper. There are several markers and checkers and government officers who are able to go around and ensure that if they are suspicious, whatever, we told the results and have engage the students or the candidates to tell us what happened. How come this particular question is like this and like that? So we are very thorough. Yes. And the students will tell you this. Those ones who have attempted will tell you they will not do it again. Because what happens, the punishment we give them actually is to, and the law has allowed that, is to be able to send them away for 3 years. They have a right to appeal, and I've seen a few people appealing what they did, what they were found, because we also take it that some people reform after some time. So after some time they can reform and they come back to study, and they do it so well. I think some of them, they are young people. There was a case of one student who said, you know, she attempted to cheat deliberately because she did not do accountancy. It's the parent who had forced her to do. You listen to very many things, and so we guided the student, we gave them some counseling, that it is for our own good that she is able to maintain
just go through the right process.
Not just saying, I want to punish my father, who told me to do accountants, yet I want to be an engineer.
And you know, I mean, back then we used to see a lot of cases, you know, for that, where students would be like, me, I do not want to do this because it's my parent who forced me to do it. Yes, and I do not want to do it, right? So what would you tell those parents who are like, no, lazima ufanye accounting, because...
I know so many of them like that. So, and I'm one of them, but of course we negotiated my children. It is good for a parent to allow the child to make decisions. I think once a child is about 17, 18 years old, they are now mature enough to make their decisions. And so parents, please allow them to make their choices of what they do. Later on, some of them will say, oh, I wish I listened to my parent. Because, yes, some of them come back and say, hey, let me do this thing. I mean, you know, my parents used to tell me to do it. I never used to do it. In fact, I met one graduate who said, you know, this one, it was my dad who wanted me to do, and now I see the importance of it. I'm now able to do. I'm now able to use the knowledge I acquired from this to do other things. Yes.
And plus, again, it's not too late, like you said earlier on. You can still go ahead, do whatever you want to do, but still come back and do, and just have like a basic knowledge, like you said, accounting, financing is very, very important for that. Now, something else that I also realized is that, you know, only 69%, you know, of learners actually transition to university and colleges. What happens to the rest?
Sure. Yes, the government of Kenya has really made a lot of strides in this area to ensure that it's proper transition from primary education to secondary to university. But I think one of the challenges that faces our graduates, KCSE graduates, because now it's about 69% transiting to universities and colleges. It's because of finances and priorities. Sometimes you notice people who say, I'm not interested in going to university. In fact, I found a few cases of, there is a friend of mine who recently sent me, asked me whether to guide him on his daughter's interest, because the daughter got an A minus, but she wants to do a nursing diploma. I was like, sure, this is an A material who should even be doing medicine. But she said, me, I want to be a nurse. So we are working around it. I'm working with some friends in the KMTC to ask them if they can consider the request of the student. Because that's a choice. You cannot force the child. Because they say, if it's not nursing, I'm not going to anywhere. I'm just going to stay at home, you know, those kind of things. So there are such kind of interests. So allow your child to do what they want.
Exactly.
And of course, later on, they will be able to make their own choices. They can decide to go back to school and be able to improve they can still go and do a degree somewhere else.
True. Absolutely. And what a way to end the show, Dr. Nicholas Letting, CEO of CASNEB. Thank you very much, really, for making time for us this morning to just understand CASNEB and the different changes and why it is important for both the learners, the parents, and, you know, the learning institutions as well. So that is where we bring the show to a close. Thank you very much for staying with us. My name is Winnie Lubemba, wishing you a lovely day ahead. I'll see you tomorrow morning for another show as far as your world is concerned. But for now, stay safe, God bless, and see you tomorrow.